Welcome to Shita Media. This is your BossLady Talk Show with me, Salimatou Fatty. As you know, the BossLady Talk Show will bring influential women leaders to talk to them about their stories, what they have been doing, and how they have been impacting lives and livelihoods, especially inspiring young girls in the Gambia. Today, I have Salimatou Fatty with me here. Hello, Sally.
Hello, Salimatou. Great to have me here.
Thank you. Sally, tell me about yourself.
I'm Salimatou Fatty, and I'm the founder of the Salimatou Foundation for Education. And I have a bachelor degree in law, and I'm also working as a country coordinator for BT Global Access.
How was it like growing up as a girl child?
It was challenging. It wasn't something easy from my experience, because I grew up with my mom. My dad passed away when I was 1 year old, so a single mom raised me, and then she doesn't have formal education. So growing up as a girl child was really, really challenging, because I have to go through so much. I had to do so much petty trading and all of that to be able to fund my education. So it wasn't really easy. I had fun as a child, but not that fun like other children do. So, but alhamdulillah.
I also remember reading that before you go to the conventional education, you went to the local dara. Is that true?
Yeah, it's true. I'm actually from a very, I would not say super religious, but kind of very religious family. My people was very, very religious, and then especially I was told, especially my dad, he was someone very into Arabic and stuff like that. So we don't really joke with our Quranic lessons and all that. So before conventional education, I think all of us start with the Arabic education first.
So how was the experience like going through the Arabic system before going to the conventional education? Do you find it difficult to catch up?
No, I didn't, because at some point I was a child, right? So it's like simultaneous. I was doing it simultaneously. I know before starting the convention, I was actually at Dara first. It's not like I went to Arabic school, I went to Dara, right? And it was fun. It wasn't challenging. I wouldn't say I faced challenge, because for school you can say we wear uniform that every child super like, and for Dara everybody's like talking at the same time. So it's like really double experience for me. It wasn't difficult as a child. Maybe probably if I do when I was adolescent, I could say some challenges, but as a child, it was really fun. I enjoyed both.
Tell us about SAFE.
Well, Salimatou Foundation for Education was established in November 11, 2015. I started the foundation with my personal story actually inspired me a lot, and the story of my mom. And before that, I have been in various organizations, right? But I figure education is something that I really, really want to focus on. And then I haven't seen an organization that is specifically advocating for education. Most of the organizations that I was a member of, they advocate for access to education, quality education, but I was specifically looking for organization that is entirely on education focus. And unfortunately, I couldn't find that at the time. So, and then I just, created the foundation, and also to recruit other people to come forward so we can actually focus mainly on education. So that's what the work is all about. And SAFE has achieved so much since its establishment. I just think the volunteers that passed through SAFE, those that that are there before, and then I just thank everybody. Yeah.
Recently, you posted on Facebook about the recently released WAS results about the performance. What do you think went wrong?
Well, I see the post I made. I think I made it categorically clear that we are not at this point. We shouldn't. It's not like a blame game, right? For me, from my perspective, I would say it's both angles. You cannot blame the students entirely. You cannot blame the government entirely. I'm just going to say it's like both collectively. And I think there are a lot of issues and gaps in our education system, because this is not the first time the results are getting worse. It's like continuous, it's going. So if we have to put blame on just on the students or just on the government, I don't think we will definitely find a solution, right? The system has its own challenges, but right, if you looked at Gambia when COVID came, it was really, really difficult for our students. Like other countries were really progressing in terms of education because of how their students were able to catch up with technology, right? But if you look at Gambia education system, we are not so much into technology. It's like really so local. So education, like if you looked at it again, like most of the public schools, even some private school, their classes rooms are always filled with people, right? And not, I think one thing we are not consider is like not every child is an academia, right? I think people fail to really understand this. Some children, because of when the class is so congested, teacher cannot be able to have time to speak with every student to try to know their problems. And some students are very, very talented, but they are not really in academia. So I think in our education system, basically we focus more on the theory than the practical perspective. So when it's just on theory, it will not favor other students that they are technical students, and then they cannot really pass exam. And I think also the schools is actually teaching the students to just pass exam,
And move
but
on.
and move on, but not to like stick on their head. That the thing is, we just have to. Everybody's supposed to take responsibility, right? We all have to take responsibility, and definitely not the best time right now to be blaming, the student just because they are using social media. The government have their own part. So the thing is, let's just work collectively and just try to bring some solution forward, and then prevent such kind of things to happen again in the future.
So, what's your opinion on female genital mutilation?
Well, I think I said this before and I'm saying it again. I would say, because when you are doing the advocacy, like the mutilation and the circumcision, personally, I'm gonna say like they are two different types, right? Because I think I remember attending a workshop where medical practitioners were, and they were talking about the female genital mutilation. They were talking about female circumcision. So this is like from medical perspective, right? But I have also seen some activists putting all together in one basket, right? So such kind of thing, I think if we have to advocate for it, we have to be honest with the audience, not to just say it because we want to influence other people to support the cause. But we have to be realistic on what's on the ground, right? Studies are different. We have seen some women that went through not mutilation, but circumcision, and they're giving birth and all of that. So bringing a correct statistic and as well as the real issues with making sure the practice either end or people would definitely understand the issue, right? But if, for example, like you come to me telling me like there's no female circumcision, there's just mutilation, and a medical practitioner actually said there's circumcision, then I will not believe you 100% because that's not your expertise area. I'm going to believe someone that's actually in the expertise area. So mutilation in general, in overview, I think is not something accepted by Islam, right? I think what is not, because I'm not gonna put it in Islamic perspective anyway. But I think one of the reasons why it's kind of linked with Islam is the fact that according to history, when a woman was actually practicing it, and advice from the prophet was you have to cut small. And the prophet was actually the one that introduced Islam, so you cannot take it away from it. But the fact that he said you just have to cut small, which is circumcision. So obviously mutilation is like cutting everything. So actually, since the prophet is not even in support of it, definitely I'm not also in support of it. Yeah.
Over the years, mentorship have contributed to the progress of most of the young women leaders we have in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to know, who are the women who inspire you to become what you are today?
A lot. A lot. So let me just first say my mom, right? I always want to take reference from my mom for the fact that a lot of the time we think men are the head of the family, right? That's what Islam says. But if you looked at our generation right now, Halimatu, we just have to accept the reality that so many women are the head, right? And my mom actually played key role because there was no father, so she was actually the one carrying everything. So, like if I see people saying or not empowering women or something, I felt it because you are underrating some women that are going extra mile just to bring out best among children, best among their families and something like that. So my mom actually really inspired me a lot. And then I would say Michelle Obama. Yeah, Michelle Obama is someone that really, really inspired me a lot. Like I do follow her speeches and all of that. Another woman that really inspired me a lot is Pantagyata Sao. When I was interning under her, I can see she's the kind of boss. She's like, when you're a boss to somebody, but you create that space whereby your intern or someone working under you will not be afraid to tell you anything, right? So I love this kind of woman. So she really inspired me with the kind of work that she does. And then in general, I think all the women that are doing incredible work. Yeah.
We have a lot of organizations that are working on the advancement of young girls, mentoring them and providing the safe space for them to grow and realize their potential. But still, we have issues that are affecting them in the society. What do you think are the issues that are hindering their growth in society?
At organization level, we try, right? Every organization try. And I would definitely give applause to all organizations in the Gambia that are doing tireless work. But the thing is, the people we are mentoring, they are coming from homes, right? And homes also have their own challenges. I remember doing a mentorship program on the SAVE. At some point, it's like very, very challenging because some people in the mentorship program, the challenges that they face at home, right? And when they come to the mentorship ground, you can see the effect, right? So at some point, it requires the person to be strong-headed and a strong person to be able to overcome certain challenges. And we also have to accept not every human being is like that, right? For example, like if your parents ask you to study law and that's not your interest area, you want to study some science fields, you have to be the kind of bold and strong enough to be able to break that gap, like in the Gambian society. So I think a lot of young people also lack that because some people were like, I don't want to go against my parents' will. I don't want to do this. And so I just, at the end of the day, you will not see progress because that's not what they want. That is what their parents want them to do. So sometimes organizations really try a lot to try to change these people, their life. But sometimes the challenge also is back home. We cannot control that. Who am I to go to a home to tell a parent that this is how you have to train your child? You have to allow your child to do it. I can actually advise, but I cannot actually force the girl. And the parents. And sometimes as well, you can talk to the girl, herself. But when they go back home, it's very, very challenging because they are not, sometimes their self-esteem is very low. So that's why even safe mentorship program, we try to focus more on self-esteem, for them to take a stand of what they really want and not just like general mentorship program. And I actually like the fact some people stood their ground, from the safe mentorship program, this is what I want to do and this is it. And then, yeah.
You have been married for a while and you also are a
Almost
mother.
5 years, yes.
Yes, 5 years now.
Yeah.
How was it like being a mother? What is the most challenging thing that you've gone through as a mother?
Motherhood is not easy. It's very, very challenging for a career woman, right? At some point, I have to take a break. I need that. I have two boys. I need that. Even though you have a supportive partner, but your child needs you as a mother, right? And then at sometimes as well, I think we focus too much on our career that we don't really have time for our children, right? For me, I would say the main challenge that I have was to see how I can actually balance my advocacy work with parenting, right? And at some point, I was like, in as much as I'm trying to change somebody's life, my aim is to make sure people have good life and then they live in a very comfortable. So I cannot neglect my own, right? These are my children. I have to put them on the right track. So I have to take a pause somewhere. So at some point, I had to take a pause from work, from advocacy, from everything. And then, especially when I was a first time mom, I have to adjust to so many systems. Like, especially now that most of these protests are happening, I cannot participate. I felt all of that. And then I was like, imagine if I wasn't married, if I wasn't having a child, nothing, like you would see me in the forefront, right? But right now it's a whole different thing. So it comes with a lot of challenges in terms of how to balance your career, because you have a lot of dreams, you have a lot of ambition that you want to achieve, but children are there, you cannot neglect them. If you have to achieve certain things, you have to make sure this other way also is fine. I cannot just focus on my career entirely and just neglect my children like that. So I think the main challenge was how to balance both the advocacy and then parenting. But I choose parenting. To try to focus more on that and then just balance advocacy and just take a push on advocacy. I know that will not be lead. I can do it in it.
Your husband is one of the top musicians in the country. Do you at any time feel pressured by the fans to dress or behave in a certain way?
I do. I do all the time. I do. One thing about me, Salimatou, is I'm kind of like principle, right? I don't want my husband's career to affect my career. I remember when I was married newly, to adjust was very difficult. I had to make a post on Facebook. My husband's opinion is his opinion. My opinion is my opinion. Please don't lie me. And at some point, I have to pin it for people to understand. And it was really, really difficult. At some point, I was like, no matter how much I have said, like, people will always be people. So, but it affects me. It affects me at some point, but I didn't allow it to drain me, right? Especially on TikTok. Because so many people are like, you're an artist's wife. They expect me to be like putting on nails,
flashy,
all the time. I'm not a big fan of nails. I'm not a big fan of either makeup, right? And I know some makeup artists actually even messaged me that they wanted to make up. It took like a month. I was like, I will come. But one, people need to understand, I marry an artist, but I'm not an artist. I marry an artist. I'm not in the music industry. Like I marry an artist. I have my own career. So it's like different. Before I got married, also I have been doing so much. So I don't want that to affect my career. I want to maintain. This is Salimatou Fatty, not this is someone's wife, right? Yeah. So to maintain that as well, it's very, very challenging. And so I just have to ignore people because they cannot influence me to do certain things that I'm not compatible with. I mean, how about if I have to fix nails all the time because this is what fans want, but I cannot pray. If I die, what I'm going to tell my Lord? It's what, so I cannot apply makeup all the time. That's not who I am. That's not something I fancy, right? So people need to understand that. So I think at some point my followers began to understand like this is like really different. And then I don't also enter in their industry. Like anything they have, this beef or whatever, I try to abstain until something has to do with something against the law that I have to talk on. But aside of that, no, I always stay back. It's none of my business. It's their own entertainment industry. I don't have anything to deal with it. I have my own career. I have to focus on my own career and do my own things. I don't want that to consume me, and I don't want people just to see me to say, oh, this is like always wife or something like that. I am Salimatou Fatty for always wife.
Yeah. You are also a businesswoman.
Mm-hmm.
You studied law.
Yeah.
One would expect that you will be there at the law school, then you do the bar and then be practicing.
Yeah, I know.
But you are venturing into business. Why?
Yeah, I think, again, people are different, right? It's true. I study law. I know a lot of people, even some of my friends, they be like, go to bar, go to bar, go to bar. Like I said before, I'm not the kind of person that follow threat. I'm not the kind of person that just do things because everybody's doing it. I do my own things because I know my vision. I know what I want. I know where I want to get to. So I just allow people to give their opinion, but I just do what I want to do. Law is something that I study as a bachelor's degree, but since when I was studying it, I don't have the intention of practicing it, right? Beginning, I have the intention, but when I get to the system later on, I don't really build the passion to practice it anymore. I prefer to have the degree in law. I have background in law. I understand things that I'm doing, then practicing it, right? I know some people, it's like when you study law, and you don't study bar, it makes no sense. But it makes sense to me. It makes sense to me because if someone defeat me today, I will know which law say this or which. I know when I'm doing business with people, I know how I can actually. I know I study contract law, so I know how I can actually deal with people and all of that. So it's true. I'm into business because I want to have money. I want to get rich. I don't want to. I want at some point I support my foundation by myself. I don't want to depend on donors. I don't want my foundation to die at some point because there's no funds, because we cannot generate funds somewhere. That's not my dream. That's not what I want. I want to build something whereby my foundation is like very personal to me. So I want to support it. Even donors are present, donors are not there, I'll be able to do it by myself. And then law, like business is like another part side of me. Law is like another side of me. So right now I took a portion there. But I will come back when my business actually, because I don't want to focus on one. So since one is actually going and is really, really doing well, amazing well, but I just want them to reach at a standard whereby then I can go back to education, masters, and then just focus on my main career path. Yeah.
Do you think it is okay for women to endure violence in marriage or relationship for the sake of their children?
No, I'm not. I'm not actually in support of that. Like I said again, I think sometimes we put so much Islam, right? We always want to take Islam as reference, this and this and that. But I mean, marriage is something that is accepted by Islam, right? But divorce is also accepted by Islam. And you cannot be somewhere until like you die just because you just want to do this. And so some things are understandable and acceptable, but some things are not understandable and they are not acceptable as well. And I would not encourage anybody to stay in their own matrimonial house whereby they are going through so much violence. What's the sense? What's the purpose of marriage? Like, you're gonna be in a marriage whereby every single day you are not being appreciative, every single day you are being beaten up. You cannot teach your children, like when you are there because of your child. What? Like you are not mentally stable. You are not mentally okay. You are mentally drained. How can you teach those children?
Very difficult.
Those children will come back to the society and be violent because this is the home that they grow up with. So I would not encourage any woman to tolerate such, just for the sake of their children.
We're preparing for elections next year.
Right.
So we are advocating for more women in political positions. What message do you have for political parties in terms of sponsoring female candidates?
Should we rely on them to sponsor female candidates? Well, I think as a woman, I'm a woman, but I think as a woman in general, the message I'm gonna put: let's not wait for politicians to sponsor us, right? I'm not a believer of that, because if they sponsor us, usually sponsorship comes with
Terms and
conditions, right? How about if those terms and conditions are not in favor of us, right? So I think we shouldn't wait for them. Any woman that aspires to become the president, and I think, is it Dr. Famila Tamajan, right? Because I saw it on Facebook that she actually wanted to vie for presidency. I don't know how reliable is that information, but if that information is reliable, bravo, because not every woman is like have the courage to come out and then just say they want to vie for president. I know some people actually say it on the ground, but I also know some of the challenges that women actually face is not, sometimes it's not our male counterpart. I mean, Halimatu, we have to accept that. Sometimes it's us as women, right? And then we are talking about women empowerment, women this, but at the same time, some of this women will be the one to say, you know that. So can I lead this country? And usually these are usually said by women themselves. So I'm not in support of giving or blaming men 100%, and I'm also not in support of allowing or waiting for men to support female candidacy. I'm in support of women being strong, have the courage, and then the power to say, I'm going to do this with or without the support of our male counterpart.
Finally, what do you have for young girls who look up to you?
So for young girls that looks up to me, I would say, do not be influenced by what you see on my social media. I have a life outside of that. Be you, be real, and then anything you see that I am doing, just know that on the ground, sometimes I have sleepless night. I cry. I do so much. So just don't be influenced with everything that you see on my social, like it's going fine or whatever. On the ground is very, very tough. So my message is be prepared for the challenge. Be you. Don't try to be me. I have a dream. I know where I want to be. So I like the fact, like if I inspire you, I like that fact, but just try to be you, and anything that you are doing, just try to be consistent. Do not follow the crowd. Do not do what your other followers are just doing for the sake of doing. Without passion, you cannot achieve certain things. Without passion, there are certain things that cannot be driving. I have to say this. You remember there was one time in Gambia whereby everybody was opening YouTube accounts. Everybody was because everybody was like doing it. But they don't just know how it managed. It's through YouTube pay. YouTube pay a lot. And not many governments people know that, right? I think they know now. But there are rules and regulations. But how many people were able to post such kind of content for them to receive that kind of money from YouTube? And again, a lot of people are actually into business, right? I'm going to take example of the Shein. It is Shein or Shein business that people do. You see a lot of like young guys or a lot of young people, just because a person is doing it, just getting something, they're always just going to venture into such kind of business. So my advice is always be you. Just believe in yourself. What you want to do not mind the society. Just focus on that. Once the success comes, those would be the people to wow you. Those would be the people to, call out your name everywhere. But at the beginning, it will be tough.
Thank you, Salim, for honoring our invitation.
Yeah, pleasure.
And thank you for watching. This is the episode we have for you today. We'll be back next week with another episode. Thank you.